Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video it's about the Karen Blixen Museum in Karen. And yes, we are also going to find out why Karen was called Karen in Nairobi and why we have the Blixen Museum. So guys, if you love history, please come with me as our host explains to us why we have Karen Blixen Museum.
Maybe I could squeeze some few seats so that to avoid the other seats. Let's squeeze a bit of the two seats there. Thank you. Welcome to Karen Blixen Museum.
Okay, first, would you mind, because I want to record this, do you mind?
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Should I mask come?
Yeah, the distance is okay. You can remove the mask.
Welcome to Karen Blixen Museum, the home of the most famous Danish author who lived here from 1913 to 1917. And actually, when she was living here, she had two houses. This is the first house where she lived for 3 years, and then relocated to this one and lived here for 14 years. And this way, this one was made the museum and not the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'll be giving you the history of the house, how the house was constructed, who constructed it, taking you to the farm machineries that were later came all the way from Canada, take you to the back of this house and explain, and I also explain about the school, how it came to be of existence.
Oh, okay.
Let's begin by looking at who Karen was. Karen was a lady born all the way from Denmark, and when when she came here, the first impression of her being here in Africa was like, this place, people are not going to school, the kids are not going to school, and she had suffered the same predicament when she was at home. She never went to school up to the age of 18. So she felt so bad and wanted to uplift the standards of the kids, so to give them something where to go to school. But even the chief was against the school being open, because the chief feared if the school was opened, people will go to school and they will be more intelligent, and they will maybe come and overtake his kingship. That's why even the chief was against it. But with time he was convinced, and that's why I'll be showing you some few kids who were taken to school, and later they became very great people here in Kenya. Like one of them became a lawyer, another one became the best chef here in Kenya, who actually prepared the menu for Prince Edward when Prince Edward visited here in 1928. But let's begin the history so that you can understand of how it went on through. But the whole history of Karen began in April 17, 1885, when she was born. Born in Denmark, born by the Wilhelm and the Ingeborg, father and mother. And after she was born, she found that during those eras, the ladies were not allowed to go to school. That's why she never went to school up to the age of 18, because at that time the ladies were looked upon. Their standards were not as much as today. She never went to school up to the age of 18, but after turning 18, she joined the Royal School of Copenhagen to study art and literature, and went on to further higher education in Rome and in France, Paris. So she knew how a bit to speak of Italiano and a bit of French. And knowing that helped her a lot even when she came here, because she stayed here for 17 years and she knew how to speak Swahili.
Wow.
And a bit of also Kikuyu, because the people who are living on this area were Kikuyus. And she came with all the way from people from Mombasa so that they could help her in the translation here with the other people. And after turning 20, after finishing her education in Rome and in France, Paris, she had turned 28. And she felt the urge of getting married and wanted to settle down. That's when Bro Baron Blixen, who was a Swedish cousin, went on to propose to her. She accepted the marriage proposal. And after just accepting the marriage proposal, their mutual uncle, Kurt Morgan, advised them to come to Africa because it was the beginning of the First World War. And it was very less stress in Europe. The uncle told them, go to Africa, there it's more peaceful. They accepted it and came. The Baron was the one to travel first, so that he could come prepare the grounds for Karen to come the next year. He arrived here in March 1913. And upon arrival, his main intention was to do cattle farming. But was advised by the friends who were living here before him that coffee farming was more profitable and would have made them millionaires. Who doesn't want to become a millionaire?
Everybody wants to be a millionaire.
He went for the idea of coffee farming. Bought a very huge land of 4,500 so that he could do a vast cultivation of coffee. And the next year, 1914, that's when Karen arrived in the port of Mombasa. They had a very colorful wedding where they went for their honeymoon on the shores of Lake Naivasha. There's in Lake Naivasha. Have you visited Lake Naivasha?
Yeah, I've been in Lake Naivasha.
There's
but
an island. Maybe you could
next
take him.
time I will.
Lake Naivasha actually is one of the freshwater lakes that we have in the Rift Valley. And one being among the freshwater lakes that we have in the Rift Valley, it is mostly visited by people who want to do boat riding, swimming, maybe fishing on the lake. That's why people prefer Lake Naivasha. They went there for their honeymoon and then returned to the first house where they lived for 3 years. After 3 years, they bought this house from a Swedish architecture by the name Sakis Joren. The house was built with the best materials. The floors are made of cedar, the walling inside are made of mahogany, and the roofing is made of mvule, local indigenous trees, one of the best hardwoods that we have in Kenya. And that's why actually this house has been, it's almost 110 years, and you can see our house, how beautiful it still looks at. But with time it has undergone a bit of renovation. I'll be showing you. The lower part of the is iron sheet and the other part is clay. But with time, the husband lost interest in coffee farming and will spend more of his time in his hunting safari, going for hunting on the way, all the way, Masai Mara, Savo, because at that time, most of the people here were hunters.
Oh.
Because they wanted hunting was more easy. You could hunt a lion and then sell the skin at that time. But today, we don't support hunting. We only support hunting with our cameras. And up to when he was going for his hunting, he had lost interest in the coffee farming. He spent more of his time here hunting the lions and the leopard. But he was not only said to be a hunter of lions and leopard, he was also said to be a hunter of ladies. Because he had the Baroness title and wanted the ladies also to feel, to go to have a look at the title maybe.
Yeah.
And that's why accidentally he contracted syphilis and infected Karen with the syphilis in 1921. And they had to separate. Baron took all his belongings and went all the way to Tanganyika. Karen was left here in the land. Being left in the land meant that she never knew how to manage the land. She was sick, devastated, and that's when she started visiting the club, Muthaiga Country Club, which was the only club in town. At that time, I will say all the gents will always meet her in the Muthaiga Country Club, maybe in the evening hours. So she decided to go to the Muthaiga Country Club to see if she will get someone who can help her in the management of the farm. As she was going there, she met this guy by the name Dennis Finchaton, who was very renowned here in Kenya due to the fact that he was among the people who are licensed to fly an aeroplane, a land developer, owned couples of land on the other side of Mombasa and the other side of Mount Kenya. He was a hunter, a trader, so he knew how to manage the land properly. Karen decided, let me become friends with this guy. They became very good friends, and actually by 1925, they had fallen in love with each other. That's when Dennis moved into the house, but was not permanently living here. He was only living here when he was based in Nairobi. He would come live here maybe for 1 month, then go to the other lands to help the other people to manage their lands. And by 1925, Karen became very good in the management of the farm. And that's when her mother decided to construct a factory for her in Kenya in 1928, just so that Karen will buy coffee beans from the other farmers and even sell them at a more better price. And the same year, Karen decided to open doors to various kinds of guests. One of the most famous guests who visited the place was Prince Edward in 1928. I'll be showing you just a picture of him, of the people who came just to entertain the prince, just outside here in these grounds. It's inside the picture, in the house. But after 1928, 1929, 1930, those were the hardest years for Karen here in Kenya due to the fact that the land was befell by 2 years of drought, locust invasion, and the coffee factory built in 1928 got burned down in 1930. It burned in such a scenario. Have you seen the Maasai people? You know the Maasai people?
Kinda.
Maasai is one of the community here in Kenya that keep large numbers of cattle. And keeping large numbers of cattle means that whenever it's on a dry season, their cattle will always be affected a lot. So they will, like here in Kenya, whenever it's on a dry season and the rains are approaching, you'll always know, because you'll feel the wind is very heavy, you'll always see the ants are moving all over, and even the birds will always tell you. They will be like, birds are just moving all over just to showcase over how the rain is approaching. So whenever they see these signs, they'll always burn the grass so that when the rain falls, the grass can grow more faster for their cattle to have something to eat. As they were doing so, in 1928, they burned their grass and fire spread and burned the factory down. Because Karen and the Maasai people were only separated by a river. Karen was living on this side, the Maasai people were living on this side. As they were burning their grass, fire spread and burned the factory. And that was actually Karen's mother felt very bitter about everything in Kenya and actually decided to withdraw the support of the farm. And the next year, 1931, Karen was declared bankrupt. The same year, his boyfriend died on an airplane crash. He was in Mombasa when he had the news that the factory had burned down. He wanted to come maybe and help Karen with the financial stability, maybe the reconstruction of the factory. As he was coming this way, he had an airplane crash, and that was the end of him. He died, and that's when Karen became very bitter about everything actually here in Kenya now, and she decided to sell the land to Richardson and Martinson Company and went back to Denmark. When she was in Denmark, she took more of her time to write her books. The first book was published in 1934. The second book was published in 1937, The Out of Africa. It contained the history of the 17 years that she spent here, explaining of every interaction that she had with the people here when she was living here. And she actually won the Book of the Year award, the Book of the Month award, and other various kinds of awards. She continued writing up to 1962 when she died of old age and malnutrition. Malnutrition was due to the fact that the medicine that was used to treat her syphilis had a lot of content of mercury, so it infected her a lot in the stomach, making her to have stomach complication, making her to become infertile, and making her to lose hair. That's why most of the pictures I will show you in the house, she's covering her head just to hide the fact that she was losing hair.
And okay, what about the husband who moved?
The husband, after moving out of Kenya, he went to Tanzania. You know, they could they had the Baroness title, and having the Baroness title, you could not live in one country. They had to separate. Baron went all the way to Tanganyika, Karen was left here. And after he went to Tanzania, he actually remarried another wife, and then divorced, or moved all the way to US, married another wife there, divorced, and then went back to Denmark, and he died of a road accident in 1946.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's so sad for
So
both
actually,
of them.
I'll say he became more of a drunkard because he was said to be this guy who wanted only to date the rich ladies. He never wanted any poor lady with her, anything to do with a poor lady.
Wow.
But, and actually, that we know at that time, like I will explain it. At that time, people will have if you wanted to have the Baroness title, the Karen family were the only one that were rich. The Baron family were not that rich, but they had money, but they had spent all their money to get the title Baron, to get their title. So that's why they hadn't wanted, and that's why their marriage was a marriage of convenience, because Baron wanted the money and Karen wanted the title. That's why they had decided to come together. And after Karen died in 1962, that's when the Danish government came back to Kenya and bought the part of the remaining land that had remained with a house and gave it back to Kenya as a gift of independence in 1963. When we were gaining our independence. And they gave it also with some amount of money just to help in the construction of this school. This school is actually, it was
What's
open.
the name of the school?
KMTC, Karen Campus.
Oh, the KMTC.
Karen Campus, yeah.
Awesome.
Actually, it was open for the ladies at that time because Karen wanted to uplift the
The
standards
ladies,
of the ladies.
yeah.
She loved the African ladies a lot and wanted to give them something to value themselves for. And that's why the school was open the same date, the same month that she had died, but a difference of 4 years. She died in 1962, the school was open in 1966, same date, same month, 7th September 1966, that's why it was open. And actually it was open for the ladies, but later on it was made a mixed school, where the ladies today and the boys can go and enjoy medical practitioner all about nutrition. She died of malnutrition, and this school is majorly specializing in nutrition to understand of how they can help other kids not to suffer of malnutrition. And later on in 1980s, the Danish people who were living here in Kenya approached the government with a request that this place may be a museum. It was made a museum in 1985. The same year the movie Out of Africa was released. It was more like 100 years birthday for her, because she was born in 1885. The place was open in 1985. It was more like 100 years birthday for her up to fame.
Yeah.
She's more remembered here because when she was living here, she came up with an idea of building a school, a very small school, which I was telling you the chief was against it. But later on, the chief was convinced, and he accepted the school to be open. She had constructed a church for the people to go, and of how she was very nice to the people. And that's why she's more remembered up to this area, up to today, still called under her name, Karen. In memory of this great lady that was living here there. The lady was treated not that nicely. And that's why you can see this area has lots and lots of universities, because people want to build their universities on a ground that is for a lady who wanted education for the people.
Okay.
And actually I'm one among the students who study in one of the schools here.
Where do you study?
Wildlife Labs of Kenya.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so in short, you're trying to say like this Karen thing was named after Karen, yeah?
Yeah, it was named after Karen.
Ah. Okay.
Any other question?
No, that's interesting. Something I never knew.
You visited the Karen Blixen Museum, and now you have something to you know
Yeah.
all about just of how she used to love the people. Something that we can do, love and caring for the people. She became very famous, and that's why there's a museum all the way in Denmark for her, a museum here in Kenya for her. She was used in the currency of Denmark. She was used in the postal stamps of Denmark. And actually, all in all over the world. Her book has been translated into over like 40 languages, like all the famous languages in the world.
And for some reason, did the husband ever get successful, or like, because from what you're saying, like, okay, I don't want to describe him like a loser, but like, what did the husband do that really touched the hearts of people? Or he
I
was
would not say much of that due to the fact that the husband is said to be this guy who only wanted actually the main his main thing was here when he was living here. It was organizing hunting safaris for the royal family. Yeah, and anyone who came all the way from those sides of the maybe Europe, Asia. At that time, he was the only guy who was organizing hunting safari for them, and he is one among the people who said to have supported even the Germans in their war. When he went to Tanzania, you know, the Germans and the British were always at head.
at war.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Welcome. Let's have a look at the machineries as we proceed into the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's someone who is not interested, but you have to handle every person with his own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, these are the Pharaoh prows that were used to cultivate the land. They came all the way from Canada because his brother was an engineer in the Canadian Army. So when he had a sister who was coming into Kenya to do coffee farming, he decided to come with this machine just to help her sister to cultivate the land.
Okay.
And those are the wagons that were used to transport coffee from here to the railway station. And actually, they were carrying 12 bags to equivalent to 1 ton, and they were pulling by 16 to 20 oxen at the time. Imagine at that time it was taking almost 8 hours to go to Nairobi, but today it's only 30 minutes drive to Nairobi.
Yeah.
So imagine how different life was at that time.
Yeah.
These are Fords on tractor model F of 1922, and by 1920 it was being used in the European farms. That's why Karen had to ship it all the way from Europe just to be able to survey the land. Yeah. Why do you think it didn't have rubber?
Come and answer this question for me.
Why do you think it didn't have rubber? Why do you think
when the rubber was invented?
it was all the rubber was all invented?
Oh yeah, the cars already.
Why do you think? You have maybe an idea? An idea before I find something for you?
Reduce the friction?
Friction of what and what?
The friction between when this thing is rotating.
Maybe. Let me give you the answer. At that time, due to the fact that the roads here were not that good, the whole area of Vino was covered with trees more than these. And having an area that's covered trees more than these, you had to have a rough material that could penetrate through the area. You can see how it was all covered with trees.
Yeah.
And that's why
It didn't have the rubber.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's have a look at the house.
Where the photos are not one?
Inside.
We'll start from here. This is just a showcase of the map of Karen's land, how it was all divided. It all started all the way from those Ngong Hills, which is a Maasai word meaning the human knuckles. The Ngong Hills on the other side. Yeah. The Ngong Hills, actually that's where his boyfriend was buried, the Dennis Finchato. Because they used to visit the hills a lot. And they will always tell each other that whoever visited, whoever died before the other, let my corpse be buried on the hill. That's why his corpse were buried there. And actually it's still a grave up to today. It's called a grave museum. And this is the first house, the Bagadi house, which was named after the river that was just flowing behind the house. And the second house, the Mugani. Mugani is a Swahili word meaning somewhere forested. At the time, this area was forested, and that's why she decided to name it Mugani. And this is the landing field for his boyfriend. And this is a farm that she was cultivating coffee on. And a school was built next to it so that when the elderly were going to work, the young ones would be left in classes, and that's why we call her the pioneer of education. And this is the dam that she had constructed for the people, and the church that she had constructed for the people always. Yeah. And this is the factory that was more closer to the river for use cleaning of the machinery. Any question on that part? Initially, this part was not there. That's why you can see it's a bit modern. It was later constructed in 1966 when the school was being constructed. Because the matron of the school used to live in the house. For easy access from the school to the house, that's why this part was constructed. Admiring the Ngong Hills sunset. Because it's very beautiful in the evening hours. We have a very beautiful sunset in the evening hours where the sun goes on the hills and the hills are hitting the rays of the sun are hitting the hill. And the two Italian cypresses were planted in 1931 by the local community, just to indicate of how they used to love Karen and respected our law. The three were planted in 2010 just to mark 25 years of this place being open as a museum.
And how big was Karen's land?
6,000 acres.
6,000
Yeah.
acres.
Yeah.
So this includes with this house and this school.
All the
and
way from Ngong Town, Karen Town shopping center, the other side of Bomas of Kenya, the entire Karen, the word that you hear in Karen.
the entire Karen
Yeah.
is Karen.
Yeah. The entire Karen is Karen.
And how come we have other people who acquired the land, the Karen's land, when Karen was already gone? How did these people?
They bought.
get
They
this?
started buying the land. She sold the land, and they started buying the land from different individuals. Yeah. Richardson and Martinson Limited Company was the one who was selling the land to different individuals, and that's why you can see today it's still the same. Different people buy the land.
Ah. So this forest is included, huh?
Yeah, this is part of the museum.
Do you have dangerous animals there?
No, we don't have dangerous animals. We only have the small antelopes, the big pigs.
No snakes?
No snakes. I've never seen a snake here.
Really?
Yeah, maybe we could see one. I don't know.
No. I'm scared of snakes, that's why.
You love snakes?
Scared?
Scared?
Yes.
Maybe I'll hold one for you.
No. I won't. Will you watch? Will you see the snake? Will you see the snake?
You want to hold a snake?
Which one?
Which type of a snake? Oh, any?
Python.
Rock python?
You have all?
We don't have a snake. I've never seen a snake, but I know there's some snake, maybe, but I've never seen one.
Oh.
Okay, I hate snakes.
You hate snakes?
And I can't stand
What
them.
is this?
That's called an Australian frame. Actually, it's a very unique tree because whenever it's on a, you can see at this time, it is shedding the green leaves and remaining when it's only. That's why it's called a frame, an Australian frame.
Okay.
Because you may think it's something that is burning. Doesn't? It's only for ornamental purposes, just to decorate the place. Yeah. Different trees have been planted, like the two Hope Island pines,
Yeah.
just to decorate.
And they look like twins. They are planted at the same time.
Yeah, they were planted at the same time, but this one has, you can see, it has divided itself, but it's one among the one trees, just to decorate the place.
Okay.
We are headed to the nature trail, where it has a coffee drying machinery, and a nature walk where people can enjoy walking for their nature.
Okay.
Welcome to the nature trail.
Okay.
Watch over your head. Whatever you see, like I'm being hit by these trees. It's a very beautiful place. Actually, you can remove your mask and feel how the environment is so fresh.
Yeah.
Okay. Very fresh, actually. And that's one thing about the uniqueness about Nairobi. 2 minutes you're in the town, 2 minutes you're in the bush.
Yes.
Very unique to find a city that like that is that way.
I think I like woods. I need a photo in the woods. Okay, so this is the machine.
Yeah, this is the coffee drying machinery that was used to all the way Gordon Guardiola.
Okay.
Coffee drying machinery, all the way from London. She had to bring it.
Here, please.
Yes.
What is this?
These are tree hyrax.
No, this one inside.
It's called like a tree hyrax. Actually, it's a nocturnal animal, a symbol of luck.
Symbol of luck.
Yeah, because it's a nocturnal animal. Whenever you see it during the day, we believe it's a symbol of luck.
So what luck?
But it
You
looks like
must be lucky
like
to
a
see it
rat.
today, and I'm seeing it with you.
Oh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because it is always actually. During the day it spends all its time sleeping, and during the night that's when it's very active. Said to be the clover bladders of the elephant, due to the fact that this animal actually has the three things like the elephant. The gestation period being one of the longest in the small animals of 9 months, and the 21 months for the elephant. It has two long teeth like the tusk of the elephant, and the family is controlled by the eldest female. Yeah.
Wow, so we are so lucky.
You're so lucky to
We
see
need
it.
to drink.
You should drink actually.
But we didn't say the word that when we say we're supposed to drink.
Yes?
We have a word.
Oh, there's a
Say
word.
that. Yeah, there's a word.
Tell me the word. Which word?
Put in.
Huh?
Put in.
Oh, Putney.
Yeah, like Putney. Like it sounds like Putney, but not Putney.
He's very funny.
And they'll transport the coffee all the way to Nairobi by the wagons I showed you, and then transport it all the way to Mombasa by train, and then ship to London for further processing.
So how long did it take even
Almost
to get to Mombasa?
With train, it was taking a bit of some few, maybe 8 hours to 9 hours.
To Mombasa?
Yeah, by the train.
Few hours. That's like now with the bus.
Yeah, it's almost the same with the bus.
So it
12
means
hours.
so it means it was easier by then to travel with the train than travel with the.
Yeah, that time it was more easier. The roads were not that much constructed, so you had to.
Okay.
Let's go to the other side.
So these are
These are
different
coffee,
coffees, yeah.
This is just a sample of to showcase how coffee grows. Different species of coffee tree, just to see which will do good in this area.
Oh, okay. And which coffee did Karen really plant?
The Arabica type of one.
Oh, the Arabica.
Yeah.
That's the only coffee I know.